Good evening, viewers, watchers, listeners. I hope all is well out there. We are now going to continue and resume play with the book entitled The Sacraments of Eternity. We're going to continue in this new chapter that we've begun. Questions from Eternity readers. Let's continue with this chapter, shall we? Teacher, Alexander, I understand you and your spiritual impulse. I beg you, leave it all to me. Only I can fix everything, and no one else. That is where we left off in the last reading, in the last episode. Let's continue. Question. Again, about the prophets. They predicted a lot. As for me, I think the prophecy is a warning. Thus, 98% of the warnings came true. As for us, the latest was about Chernobyl. Only 2% left, and 2 years before third millennium. My thinking is this: if we lose control over this 2%, then they will be already new prophets who will start a new countdown, but only in a few millennia. Ironically, but they will be listened to, and nobody will dare to burn them, as they would have learned the lessons of life, of the life that was before them. Teacher, you can avoid this 2%, and that's what I'm calling for you to do. I'm doing my best to convince you to believe in everything holy. Certainly, I will never allow terrible things to happen, and I'll leave 2% on earth to start a new countdown. But I will do it in such a way so that you never forget about it. I won't bring you examples because you already overripe seeds and your race is smart. Not in all areas of life, unfortunately. You use your brain only for your own benefit. First, you wait for the Lord's grace and then destroy this grace. Of course, something will happen, but write it down only for yourself, because people didn't believe in 98%, and they won't believe in my sayings now. Question. Teacher, excuse me, but may I unveil the secrets, at least among my close friends? Teacher, it is your own business. Question. Why are there differences among Christians? Teacher, when everyone will hear me the same way as now only a few do, disagreements will disappear. for they will listen to me only, but not some false Christ who makes believers fight with each other and spiritual brethren misbehave, not knowing what they're doing. And most importantly, for what and whom they are doing all of this. You see, sons of man still suffer from only one thing, and their fault is the misunderstanding of God's words. Holy things. Since believing in me is a unique spiritual art that comes only from the soul, you can learn this art of knowing me. If a musician is tone deaf, you don't expect him to make beautiful music. It's a harmony of beauty that gives rise to a melody for body and soul. So the notion and faith should be in the foreground of each person. Then all spiritual ill feelings will disappear on their own. In general, you need to find one true refuge in your life and never leave it, no matter how difficult it is. This would be neither a crime nor a sin against God. Life. Wonderful life. Sometimes it's taken by pain and suffering. It's full of joy and sorrow, tears and smiles. Whatever it might be, it is necessary to praise it for the sake of everything holy and only for the sake of Jesus Christ. For the sake of joy in which you live. Life disappointed by somebody's ignorance. Life humiliated by someone's bad joke can always find the strength to spread its wings and fly up to the great space, and then shake off the burden of humiliation. Life is eternal, holy of holies, that has ever existed in the entire universe. Life is the beginning of a path to infinity, to everything high, to the face of God. Embracing your life, you sow the fruit of eternity and fill your souls with hope, knowing and feeling that you're not alone in this life. God is the very first guide in life. Immortality is the second ideal that is always close to God and your life. Life flourishes on thoughts, and it is fiercely striving for God. When seeing His truth, it blooms like the Garden of Eden, giving a divine scent. Life deserves its pride of place in God's kingdom. Don't live fast. Enjoy life. Be proud of it and admire it. The more you know, the life, the closer you'll be to God. Life is a warm day filled with sunshine and spirited by a breath of wind. The warmth of life can be seen everywhere, in the rustling and breathing of trees, in bird songs. It soars around the earth, supported, saved by God's grace. Life, a gift for your soul from our one and only Maker. It is as eternal as Maker. You need a little effort to understand it. You must learn to smell its scent, see its color, and hear its voice, which says, understand and rejoice for the depth which makes you progress, and you will realize that this depth has no limit, as well as the entire great space. In this abyss, you'll meet and you'll know and take a lot of exciting things. Do not be afraid of God's things. Walk beside. Feel confident. And nobody will break you in your life. Take the hands of your Maker. Only He can show you the way to the dawn where you see the rise of the almighty celestial body. With every beam of the rising sun, you will feel extreme pleasure, which will rise and raise you, giving you its joy and eternal love. Plead for God things, and you will get them to see once again that God is merciful to all of you. Blind ignorance will be observing all this from its corner with its own envy, not realizing what's happening. With a smile on your face, you will bathe in the spiritual flow, admiring the hearty light. God, spiritual healer, He will grace you with His blissful energy. And you'll see that all the uncertainties obsessing you will fade before your eyes. What a grace it is to feel the lightness of flight while moving freely in divine space. Moving around the place, you can cover it all in an instant. And by joining the impressive, impeccable spiral of eternity, oblivion will bless you from all angles. Life is not only a word, but also life. Eternal life, filled with God's kindness, will bear the same child. To make everything once and for all. Space has invisible power with God in it. Single creator of eternal space. Supporting spiritual friendship with your Creator, you strengthen all the kingdom of heaven, space of pure kindness. The verity itself in God's halo rises to the holy and shines like the second sun. God and man, light and nature, unity and love in their pleasant feelings are spread across the endless divine. God is a spirit. God is the heavenly freshness which refines the majestic and preserves it as worthy. Seeing all this, the pitch black darkness begins to cry, begging for mercy, kneeling before a heavenly freshness. God's things do not stand still. They are moving and looking for, insisting and striving to reunite with everything sensible. The smile of God is the reward not only for a man, but also for everything that is constantly moving. A cost of hope could be reached, and it takes all souls without exception. The main thing is to see this coast, and bright lights of its beacon will guide you. And then, when you are washed ashore, you'll understand. You will rejoice again for going the right path. Gracious ocean of life boils, makes noise, and overflows, bringing an inexhaustible spiritual wealth from its depths. Take it and use it wisely, for not to damage either you or the spiritual ocean. What will remain on shore? Bring it back to the ocean. Let this wealth boil and simmer, enjoying its spirituality. Starting your own eternal path, you might first find and know the soul given to you by the Lord. Knowing it, you need to keep it as a fire from going out. Carry it. Don't be afraid. You won't get burned because it is naive and native and close to you. And such a thing will never hurt you. But on the contrary, it will warm and grace you. Go through thorns, and when you come up to the field of bliss, divine plants with wonderful flowers will welcome you in their cradle, and you'll find spiritual peace listening to their gentle whisper. Take a little rest and then continue your way, learning all the secrets of the universe. You'll be more and more interested. But I repeat, do not hurry. Learn, because you come across with new on your way. When you know it, take some for yourself. But don't take too much. Don't take much. Since there's a never-ending flow following you. Although there is enough for everybody, take only what's necessary. Otherwise, you feel heavy, and there is something beautiful that lies ahead. The words of God's truth have their meaning. It's not difficult to understand it. Just involve your soul, and it will tell you what to do. Don't be shy. Go ahead. Gratitude lies ahead. Once again, take your time. Realize everything. Great space will not let you down. It will teach you clarity, introduce you, and you'll be delighted to realize all of that. Remember, you won't wait long for what's promised. Life should be peaceful and blessed by God. For peace and God's bless are sources of happiness which is near at hand. Life should be peaceful and blessed by God. For peace and God's bless are sources of happiness, which is near at hand. Do not pass it by. See this happiness. I'm sure if you realize it will reward you. Darkness and evil walk on their own, and they take everyone who walks past their happiness. You say, we don't see, we don't care what's hidden. See the light you've been walking for many centuries with your heads down, not seeing anything ahead. Turn to your heart, raise heads, and go confidently to the gates of happiness, where good reigns. Open the gates, leave everything behind, and you'll see how things hidden before emerge before your eyes. Those who hate light and verity shall go to darkness and seek for their destiny there. But darkness with all its greatness is only darkness. And it can't even dream about timeless eternity. I repeat, only in the light you'll behold God's grace. Reviving the mind of man with unsurpassed freshness can bring results, and the Spirit of God will strengthen this result for many years of earthly life. As the robust and strong will easily overcome the secret passage from earthly being to immortality. The spiritual ocean is everywhere, and its abode, tied with all divine, will always praise its creation. Certainly, you think of everything in earthly terms and often forget about the God ones. While they should prevail, because God has the continuation, whereas earthly things are only accumulating what is immeasurable. But this won't be you who will spend it. In the worst case, it won't be carried with the wind. I think many will agree with me. Man created and born by God must go back to his Creator. It's the law, and there can't be another. Although the man thinks differently. No, I was born on my own, and there is no God. I am God. And that's it. Yes, you are God, but only with a tiny letter G. Yes, God, but for the time being. When you see true God, then you'll change your attitude at once. Don't wait when it happens and change your opinion now. Because I repeat, the third millennium will ask each and every one, and you'll face it and answer not only to yourself but also to God. I can't understand one thing. I promise you everything from bliss to immortality. You don't believe, but when darkness takes you, you'll rejoice to say, "Oh, that's nice. We like it." You're just killing your common sense this way. Call me whatever you want to call. I won't change and become somebody else. I will stay the same with many faces. My ocean is huge and unmeasurable, and I'm in everything. But you are wandering around with a candle in hand. You're just pretending to light your way. Without my fire, but you are wandering around with a candle in hand. You're just pretending to light your way. Without my fire, your candle will go out even if a small breeze starts blowing. It will be difficult to light it again. And a man simply falls into the abyss, taking this cradle with him. The soul will struggle to get out of the darkness. The soul will struggle to get out of the abyss in the dark, though somewhere up high. It will see a very bright light which will say to it, "I am your God, the God who created you." But your bodies prefer the other. The soul will repent and ask for forgiveness. I'll have to say all, but that's extra effort and a more difficult way to go when it could have been simpler. You'll agree with me that all gods must belong only to God, because often I feel sorry for what's lost. When you lose fruit, you lose it with a seed, the main element of that fruit. Dear readers, we will stop there. We will resume play and continue another time with the book entitled The Sacraments of Eternity. I thank you for joining us this evening. Again, I hope all is well out there. Look forward to being with you the next time. Until then, good night, God bless, good evening, and thank you. Fare thee well.